Being the first hero to introduce Unstoppable to Paragon, Terra was quite exciting in theory. In practice, she really wasn't all that compelling. And the nature of her, actually, it wasn't too overly strong. So, if I was to personally rework her, what would I do? Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a Hero Rework idea video. I am Sylphin. So, a few things to get out of the way right off the bat. One, this is just my own personal idea. My own personal idea, that is all. And I'm just doing this to get my own ideas out there for you guys to, to critique. I want to know what you guys think about these, pardon me. 2, passives are awesome, and they bring out a hero's nature, a unique mechanic in their kit, and I think they should come back. They should come back. So that is what, I'm doing. I'm extracting that out of her kit, and out of heroes' kits, or just making them up, period. 3, I like the idea of quest mechanics, which is if you can do something successful that defines the hero and the reason why you picked that hero in the first place, then that nature gets empowered. Abilities get more powerful, stuff like that, etc., etc. Love it. So I'm coming up with something for Terra here that you'll see in a moment. 4, I think that hero design has to be based around strong hero identities and niches. They have to serve a purpose in the draft lobby. There has to be a reason for you to pick them, because if there isn't, well, then there's no point in having different heroes at all, because they're just all the same and it's all not exciting. So, with that said, what is that niche and theme for Terra? Well, it's kind of obvious from her kit and just from her release and stuff like that. And that was that she's an anti-CC, anti-crowd control, unstoppable tank. Unstoppable being you make yourself basically immune to all crowd control effects, and just you don't care. You just go through anything. You're unstoppable, literally. That is her theme. And she could maybe a bruiser, but I think that with the being anti-CC and unstoppable, that is really well suited for being a tank. You're just there, you don't care, you're there and you're meaty. Plus, her character model is really suited, as you can tell, for being a tank. So that we're running with that. She's an anti-CC unstoppable tank. Her stats all stats for every hero definitely need tweaking, but for her, less overall ability basic damage and higher health and armor scalings. She'll just need more to be a tank instead of a damage dealing bruiser, for example. Passive. Her passive here that I've done is this. Absorbing or suffering crowd control gives Terra 4% movement speed and 3% damage reduction for 3 seconds. This effect can stack and can only proc once per ability that she suffers. So if she does absorb stuff or suffer crowd control, she gains movement speed and damage reduction. If the enemy team is trying to crowd control you because you've picked Terra against a good team comp that has lots of CC, which is the whole point of you picking Terra in the first place, then you get rewarded. You get rewarded for it. You get movement speed. And now you slowed me, but no, I'm just going to increase my movement speed and come get you. 3% damage reduction. You're trying to burst me down to kill me with crowd control. No, I'm here. I'm going to take less damage. Effect can stack. Can only proc once per ability. So if you run into a phase bramble patch, for example, you don't you don't get stacks every half second walking through it. You just get it once, and that's it. That's her passive. Ruthless Assault. Terra spins, striking all enemies around her before finishing with a forward slash, dealing damage and slowing enemies by 20, 25, 30, 35% for 2 seconds. It did not have that slow before, but we're taking away some of the damage that it used to deal, and instead increasing her utility, her tank nature for her team. There's a little bit of the slow that she can apply on people only on the second attack. So if somebody really, you know, is on the ball, this Twin Blast, for example, he could see that first swing, get out of the way, and you know, miss that second stun, that second one. Terra, though, is unstoppable while performing this ability. 9-second cooldown. Remember, that's a pretty fast ability. It takes like probably 1 second, a little bit less even. Like that was probably less than a second. So you have a bit of an invulnerability frame, so to speak, as you're doing this, emphasizing her nature. You can use it. You can use it to mitigate a Decostasis bomb that you know is coming because you just engaged, you know, on the enemy carry. You can use this very, very, very skillfully because it's not applying that much damage anymore, but also applying that slow. Very, very, very cool. 9-second cooldown, a little bit more than before. Guys, I'm not actually sure if that is the same cooldown, but you can't spam it every 3, 4, 5 seconds, stuff like that. Awesome. Deafening Command, really great ability. Really great ability. Her best ability, pretty much. Terra slams her axe into her shield, dealing damage and stunning and nearby enemies for 1.4, 1.6, 1.8, 2 seconds within a 550 unit radius. 15-second cooldown. It was her. That was her ability. You had to use it at the appropriate time. Synergize with the rest of your team. There's a skill cap in there. You know, being on such a long cooldown, you had to use it appropriately in order to really get value from it, which is just synergizing with the rest of your team. So it's quite fine. The stun is quite long. It's not Rampage Boulder strong, but it is strong and depends on your positioning. You have to be in the thick of it in order to really get any value from it, hence having enemies around you. 15-second cooldown. Awesome. Counter Guard. This was another way for her to ignore crowd control, to be kind of unstoppable. Terra raises her shield, guarding herself from all damage and CC effects for 1.5 seconds. Difference is that it's not damage instance based. It's simply just, you just guard for yourself from all damage and CC effects. You raise your shield, move at 50% movement speed. You're just absorbing everything for 1.5 seconds. Terra gains a shield equal to 40, 60, 80, 100% of the damage guarded for 3 seconds. That will be stronger. She's dealing less damage than before, which is why we're giving her more mitigation to fulfill her tank role. 12, 11, 10, 9-second cooldown. Cooldown might be a little bit long, a little bit short. So may increase that by a second or two. I'm not sure. 9 seconds, getting a shield for you know, the whole effect lasts for 4.5 seconds. So that's almost 50% uptime. So the cooldown does seem a bit, or I would actually reduce the CC effects there from 1.5 seconds out. I'm talking about it to maybe 1.2 seconds, and the shield amount reduced a bit, but that can all be tweaked. Just care about the concept that I'm trying to get across. Terra can move at 50% movement speed while guarding and can be cancelled early if you want. So, you know, maybe that justifies the longer duration, but anyways, that is her ability. That is her, stuff's coming, I'm getting bursted, put up my counter guard, absorb it, then go into a ruthless assault because the enemy, you know, some people on the enemy team were like, she's just gonna use her counter guard, so we'll stun her after that. So you counter with the ruthless assault to gain that To gain that unstoppable, you can go into your Deafening command after that or something like that. Awesome. Unstoppable Force. Terra's helmet smashes down, granting her 30, 50, 70, 700 shield and unstoppable. 4, 5, 6 seconds. Simple. Simple. She can, you know, if something really bad is gonna, happen, Unstoppable Force, kaboom, walk into everything, and there you go. Save your counter guard for after, use it before. It's only 2 people, and then the whole team engages, stuff like that. Just more options for her to be unstoppable in anti-CC. Numbers, definitely very important with all this, because that's really powerful, and her damage has to be very sensitive as well with all of this. So, what do you guys think of the concept? Making her a true tank, probably the most true tank out of anybody in Paragon. Like, look at her. Look at her. How is she not the most tank out of any of the heroes in the game? Right? She has no ranged ability, no movement. Remember, she has no movement, literally no movement ability besides her passive, which you have to absorb crowd control, which could be a slow, and you might be slow by 30%, but sure, you just reduce that to 26%, you're still 26% movement speed reduced. So the passive, while it does give movement speed, remember that usually most of the time will just reduce the effect of a slow and instead not boost your, or it does, like during your ultimate, for example, it does, but still she has very limited mobility inherently. So just remember that. Just remember that. That is what caused people to not like Terra after she came out, is that on paper it sounded wonderful, more or less, but when you actually got to playing it, she was kind of super meh. Please like the video if you like it, dislike, share it with the community, guys, and of course, subscribe and hit that bell notification button to be notified of future content. Let me know in a comment what you would like to see in that future content as well. Till next time, as always, stay optimistic and positive.